All right. I'm live, I think. Yeah, I am. Cool. All right. April stream. Woohoo. Huh. Well, I actually am kind of in a good mood because it's spring break. I've been on spring break since Wednesday. Um, it's a pretty long spring break too. It's from this past Wednesday. I also have all of next week off. And yeah, got a shitload of days off, so that's cool. Hello, Tripped for Anime. Hello, Jeremy Sands. Hello, Robert. How are all of you doing today on this very glorious Friday? Oh yeah, Charlie's here. Well, he's he's right here under the covers. So maybe you'll see him in a little bit. I don't know. I think he's sleeping. I'm doing good, Robert. The chat must be on LSD because the colors are all different. What? Looks normal to me. Maybe you're going on LSD. You're about to get some pizza? Oh, yum. Had me some pizza last night. Ordered it from my local pizzeria, which is so fucking good. I'm blessed to live in New York because of all the good pizza that's around me. Also, sorry for the weird hair today. I woke up and most of my hair was on this side of my head. I tried to fix it, but my hair doesn't feel like cooperating, so whatever. Not like I ever look good in these streams anyway, so. The names of people in this chat are all different for some reason. Mine is blue, Jeremy's is orange, and Robert's is yellow. It all looks the same to me, and none of you have special roles or anything. I think the only person, um, I think the only person that has a special role in these streams is Guitar Rocker because I have her because she's a mod. Hello, Corbin. How you doing? Corbin's is blood red. That's really weird because on my end, YouTube looks perfectly normal. Simulation is glitching out, perhaps. I heard the Mario movie is out. Came out, what, yesterday? Is it out? Well, yeah, because people told me they saw it. That movie any fucking good? I'm not gonna watch it in theaters or anything because I'm honestly done with going to theaters. I never enjoyed theaters at all, being in, that space with a whole bunch of other people. I much prefer just, chilling at home and watching movies. And also, obviously, since it's a Mario movie, a bunch of kids are going to be in the theater too. And I'd rather not be, in a big ass theater, big ass auditorium that's filled with like 90% children. You want to learn how to drive soon? That's cool. Has a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I heard the critics really don't like that movie, but I also hear that the audience really enjoys the movie. I don't really I don't really pay too much attention to critic reviews because there have been instances where I like something, but critics hate it, you know? Same thing with, users, same thing with regular people. You know, I played video games, for example, where, a bunch of the fucking gaming community hates a game, like, say, Last of Us Part 2, or more recently, I played a game called Callisto Protocol. It wasn't fantastic, but I liked the game, but a lot of people hated it. Well, I made a video about this a while ago. I don't really, I don't really take reviews as gospel. So, yeah, uh, but, from what I've heard, most people seem to be enjoying the Mario movie. Maybe I'll watch it when it's on, I don't know, Netflix or whatever the fuck it's gonna be put on after it's, not in theaters anymore. I don't blame you for not wanting to go to the theater, yeah. The last time I've been to a movie theater was in 2016 when I saw that Captain America movie. The only time I ever saw a Marvel movie in theaters, and that's really only because friends were telling me it was good and I wanted to give Marvel a shot, and I enjoyed that movie actually, but I never really yeah, I still haven't felt much inclination to watch Marvel shit. I didn't care when Endgame was out or anything, or anything Avengers related. It's kinda frustrating. It was kinda frustrating in high school not being into, like, the whole superhero stuff because that was, like when Endgame was out, that was, like, what n that was, like, 90% of what my friends talked about at the time. Endgame, 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 Marvel, 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 oh my god, Thanos, oh my god, Iron Man commits suicide or whatever the fuck happened in that movie. Sorry for potentially spoiling Endgame for anyone who may be in chat and haven't seen the movie and are interested in watching it. My bad. But yeah, I was kind of the odd one out. Everyone was talking about the Marvel shit, but I never really had much of an interest in it. Same thing when same thing when people would play Smash Bros. I brought this up in that very infamous video of mine. Is infamous even the right word? Whatever. That Smash Bros. Rant I did a few years ago that people really loved. Um, I said that there. I said in that video, there'd be friends playing Smash Bros, and I'd feel like the odd one out because I never really got into Smash Bros games, so I would just kind of awkwardly sit there and oh god, my voice. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so whatever. Anyway, I was never into the Smash Bros games, but a lot of my friends were. Every time someone brought a Switch over to school, we'd be in the cafeteria hanging out, and everyone would be playing Smash Bros, and I just kinda sit there because, again, I was never really into the Smash Bros games, and whenever I would try to join in, I would just embarrass myself because I'm not good at those games at all, because I don't really have much of an interest in playing those games. So, yeah. It's always very awkward being the odd one out and, not having the same taste as most of your friend group. I've been ignoring chat, I'm sorry. What's up? Opinion on the new Chris Pratt movie? I haven't seen it, and had a burp coming, but, it didn't come out. Anyway, I haven't seen it, and I don't plan on seeing it in theaters, at least, maybe when it's on streaming, or maybe when it's on a streaming service, I'll give it a shot. But for anyone who has seen the movie, is Chris Pratt's voice really as bad? Is Chris Pratt's voice that bad? Because every trailer I've seen, everyone else does at least a decent job. Jack Black sounded great as Bowser. He was easily the best voice actor out of everyone I heard in the trailers. But Chris Pratt always stuck out because his voice just does not match Mario at all. Not at all. I always wondered why they couldn't just get Charles Martinet to do the voice. People, like, say as a counterpoint, but his voice would be annoying in, like, a hour and a half long film or however long the Mario movie is. His Mario voice is good in small doses when you're just hearing "Wahoo!" or "Yippee!" or whatever the fuck, or "Let's-a go." But, hearing full sentences for, like, over an hour would get grating, but I don't know. I've heard him speak full sentences in the Mario voice, and he kinda tones it down a bit. I don't think it would be that annoying if Charles Martinet were to voice Mario for a full length feature film. Or maybe they could have gotten the guy who voiced Mario in that TV show back in the 80s. Whoever voiced him for that show, I forget. Never liked theaters. Hey Mike, how is it going? Everything is going well. Like I said earlier, maybe you weren't here earlier, but I'm on spring break. Woohoo. Do you want Mario to have a stereotypical Italian voice like in the games? Whatever. I don't really see much people complaining about how Mario is a stereotype, so let him be a stereotype in the movie. There's a game called Light People on Fire where, surprise, surprise, you light people on fire. Wow. That's a interesting game concept. I feel like I've done that already in other video games, though. I got a comment on my previous video. That video I did yesterday on Ada's voice actress in Resident Evil 4 is kinda sorta popping off. It had like 150 views before I fell asleep, and now all of a sudden it's at 378 views. Wow. Huh. Have you heard of Dave the Useless? He's probably not doing creepy pastas anymore. I don't think I ever heard of them. If they do creepy pasta shit, then nah, I probably have no knowledge of them since I haven't watched creepy pasta videos or creepy pasta readings since I was like probably, I don't know, 12. That was back when creepy pasta was the shit. 2012, 2013. Slender Man, Jeff the Killer. I remember when I was in 6th grade when I first heard about Jeff the Killer. I thought that shit was real at first. Like, I was like, "How the fuck can one cut their mouth open like that and burn off their eyelids," or whatever Jeff did to his eyelids? I was a very gullible 10-year-old. Well, I was 11 at the time, maybe. I'd rather watch horror stories than creepypastas. Well, creepypastas, horror stories. I remember binging Dave the Useless videos back when I was in 8th grade. I don't think I ever heard of that person. Were they big in the creepypasta scene back in the day? Is creepypasta still a thing? I thought that died out like, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. If boomers think weed is bad, wait till they hear about kids who puff Freon, gasoline, and butane spray paint to get high. I know people do crazy shit like that just to get a high. I'd rather just be I'd rather just be boring and just smoke weed. No, no harder or more dangerous drugs for me. No, thank you. Horror stories are allegedly real, while creepypastas are fictional stories. Yeah, I like watching scary story videos sometimes too. Like if sometimes I'll watch a Mr. Nightmare video. He pops up in my notifications sometimes, and sometimes the video title will catch my eye, and I'm like, yeah, I know the stories he's reading is more than likely fake, even though in the title it's like 100% real horror stories that are going to make you shit your pants or whatever the fuck else he puts in his titles, but still they're entertaining. I never really cared. I never really cared if a story or a video is fake, so long as it's entertaining. Like a few days ago, I was binging Tourette's guy videos. I don't care if that series is fake, or at least I hope it's fake. I mean, dear God, look at his fucking house in the previous video he uploaded a few years ago. But it still makes me laugh. So, you know, I never really got people who just scream to the rooftops, "Fake! This video is fake! This video series is fake, or this story is fake, or whatever the fuck else." I never, I don't care so long as something entertains me. I don't care if it's I love Mr. Nightmare. Yeah, he's like the only horror channel I watch these days. I remember I used to watch Chills, the guy with the weird voice. His voice used to not bother me, but I tried watching his more recent videos, and dear God, his voice is a lot worse these days. You watch Mr. Nightmare sometimes too. Hoodlum's Revenge made top 10 creepypastas from 2020, 2021, and 2022 videos, so it's still going. That's interesting. Yeah. I guess there's always going to be some people who are keeping the community alive, but it's nowhere near the peak like, 10 or so years ago, back when, everyone was making creepy pasta videos. And, like I said before, shit like Slender Man and Jeff the Killer were really big. And then there was that horrible story where these, like, I don't know, 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls stabbed another girl because they wanted to see Slender Man or whatever, and they're gonna use her as a sacrifice or whatever. Some weird shit like that. I remember when that was a big story. Wasn't that kind of the nail in creepypasta's coffin? Because I think after that story, I didn't see nearly as many people talk about creepypasta anymore. And there's Charlie. He woke up. What's up? Say hi to the people watching. There's 8 people here. Okay, he's leaving. I think he wants to leave. Yeah, he wants to leave. Give me a second. Green Day. Dookie is one of my favorite Green Day albums. Uh, Creepypastas are still a thing, and people still watch/listen to them. They're just not as relevant as they used to be circa 2012 to 2015. Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking on anyone who still enjoys creepypasta. It's just that it's kind of a throwback to me because I used to love creepypastas when I was a kid. And I guess that's still kind of in me today. I don't exactly go on creepypasta or listen to creepypasta stories, but I still like listening to scary story videos from time to time. I like a good spook every now and then. I also like true crime stuff. Overall, I just like freaky shit in general. And I can't speak to I can't talk down towards people who are into things that are not so relevant anymore. This is random, but I still like fidget spinners. I have one somewhere in my room. I think it probably fell under my bed or something. That shit died like 6 years ago. Yeah, 2017, that shit was popular. It's popular for like a month. Everyone at school had one, they were spinning one. First, I thought that shit was stupid. Then I bought a fidget spinner myself because I found one. I saw one at like at a grocery store being sold for like, I don't know, a dollar or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'll try it out. Everyone else is spinning fidget spinners, so why not join the craze, right? And from that day on, I still like fidget spinners, even 6 years later. That's how you know I have autism. I'm sorry. The truth about Chuck E. Cheese's was kind of disturbing yet creepy as well. Feel like I've heard some creepy Chuck E. Cheese horror stories in the past. Probably have. I feel like Sonic.exe has evolved from being a creepypasta at this point. Oh my god, I remember that story. Same thing with Ben Drowned, the Majora's Mask creepypasta. You know, the one with the Link with a creepy face, which for the longest time I thought that was actually just made for the creepypasta. That was like an edit of Link or something until I played Majora's Mask on the 3DS years ago and I was like, "Oh shit, that's actually in the game." It's a statue that of Link that pops up when you play a certain song with the ocarina. Have you listened to Dookie with the Super Mario 64 sound font? I haven't listened to Dookie with the Super Mario in the style of the Super Mario 64 soundtrack, but I've listened to well, not all the way through, but I've heard Nevermind with the in the style of Super Mario 60 in the style of the Super Mario 64 soundtrack. Same thing with the Dirt by Alice in Chains and Super Unknown by Soundgarden. I love this new trend. Making Mario 64 soundtrack style versions of grunge albums. Hope that doesn't die. I asked fidget spinners. They were cool back when I was in 8th grade. I was in 10th grade when that shit was popular. Sophomore in high school. Again, everyone was spinning those for like a month and then that shit died off and I was the last one. I probably am the last one still spinning those things. Well, I only have one, but you get what I mean. Ben Drowned was alright. Gaming creepypastas in general are pretty cheesy, but they still have a creepy charm to them. Yeah, a lot of creepypastas are pretty cheesy, I think. But, like you said, they have their charm. I have autism as well, so you're not alone. By the way, Needle Mouse was actually supposed to be Sonic.exe, but the character was a girl. I don't know what Needle Mouse is. You have autism too. Yeah, it was cathartic making that video about my autism a few months ago. Because well, I was actually also kind of nervous when making that video because I didn't know how that was going to be perceived. Me pretty much saying after making videos on YouTube for what 8 years now, going to be 9 next month. Yeah, being quiet all that time about my autism and I think even at some point saying I'm not neurodivergent at all. So I wasn't sure how people were gonna take that, but people were very receptive to that video, and it was really nice to see, very reassuring to see. you know, and just seeing how many people in the comments were able to relate to that video, you know. It's times like those where I'm very happy to have a YouTube channel and have, an audience at all. Her name was Sarah in the creepypasta. Her soul was in the cartridge being buried. What is going on in the world right now? There's something I wanted to talk about, but I completely slipped my mind. That happens a little too much with me. I just kind of forget things sometimes. All of you doing well? I hope so. Again, I'm doing just fine today. Like most days, wasn't a very productive day, or hasn't been a very productive day so far. Oh yeah, Mike, have you heard the news where there was a chemical spill at the Delaware River? I think I heard something about that, but I didn't really look into it. Yeah, it happened recently, around the end of March. It says here, at least that's what all the articles pertaining to the situation are dated. I'm getting my own football jersey from the NFL shop because my birthday is on the 29th. I'm going to turn 21. Happy early birthday. You're a year younger than me. I'm 22. I turned 22 March 20th. I had a sneeze, but I lost it. I hate when that happens. Anyway, I turned 22 on the 20th of last month. I remember it being surreal when I first turned 20. Well, it wasn't that surreal. I didn't feel any different or anything like that, but I was like, "Oh, wow. I'm 2 decades old now. Now I'm 22." And then I turned 21. I didn't do anything special for that birthday. When I turned 20, I had a birthday party. My dad came down, my aunt came down. My aunt from my father's side came here. It was really nice. Had a lot of family over. For my 21st, I did nothing, even though that's another big birthday, I guess, because that's when you turn, that's when you're drinking age, and people usually go to the bar and get plastered on their 21st. But I didn't do any of that shit. Alcohol is just not my thing. I've been offered it before, and I've always turned it down. I also want fuck all to do with cigarettes. I've grown to hate cigarettes even more in recent months because I went to a family gathering on my father's side, and my father picked me up, and he was also with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend has 2 kids. One is a 15-year-old and one is an 11-year-old, and I was scrunched up in the back seat with the 2 of them. But also on top of that, my father and his girlfriend, They're both my father's a chain smoker and so is his girlfriend, and they were both smoking cigarettes at the same time at multiple points in that car ride. We're going all the way upstate, so it was like a 2-hour car ride. So imagine being in a being in a little car scrunched up with 2 kids in the back seat, and on top of that, 2 people are fucking smoking like crazy in the front seat. And you gotta smell that for 2 hours. It was not a pleasant experience at all. I had fun at the I had fun at the actual event, the family gathering. It was a surprise birthday party from one of my uncles. He turned 60. That was very nice, but the car ride to and from that event was fucking miserable. Absolutely miserable. And I can safely say that that cigarette smoke, or at least 2 people smoking at the same time in the same car, is one of the worst smells one of the worst things I've ever smelled in my entire life. It's the Dallas Cowboys jersey. I'm getting that's gonna have my age of 21 on it, customized, LOL. That's really nice. That's very nice. My dad really tried getting me into sports when I was a little kid. We would play baseball together, even though I never really liked it. That was also because he was really hard on me. Every time I would miss, I would be the batter, and every time I would miss, he would start yelling at me, and yeah, it was not very pleasant. He's not a very patient person at all, but he tried getting me into sports. He'd make me watch baseball games with football games. He even wanted me to be in a team at some point, but that never ended up happening because I really didn't want to be part of a team. He really tried to force sports on me. I guess because that's the manly thing, being into sports, and but I never really gave much of a shit about sports at all. Well, he took me to some Yankees games when I was little. That was fun, but it's always fun going to a stadium and watching a game. I'm sure that's a completely different experience. I'm sure there are plenty of people who don't give a shit about sports, but they still go to a stadium and watch a game just, for the experience and all the people around them, you know. But yeah, and also I liked playing badminton in high school. I was actually pretty decent at that. I would play with friends and such, but aside from that, not really a sports guy. Not at all. I mean, it's fine if you like sports, of course. I'm not like talking down to anyone in this chat who may watch sports or play sports, just have an interest in sports in general. I'm just saying you know, I never really cared that much about sports. That's another thing that really detached me from my group of friends in high school. When they weren't talking about Marvel shit, they were talking about sports. Either football or baseball or soccer, you know. They were really big into sports, most of them. That was again another thing that made me the odd one out because I didn't care about sports at all. But they'd always be talking about the latest game and the scores and what teams they're rooting for, all that shit. They'd watch a whole bunch of games, and there I was just kind of awkwardly sitting there while they all talked about sports because again, I have nothing to add. I don't watch sports. The most fun I ever had watching a sports game was well, it was actually a series of sports games. The World Cup back in I think 2014 because my grandmother was watching like every game. And that's really because, it was cool seeing her be happy and excited about the World Cup, and it was fun watching it along with her. It was nothing I would have watched, on my own or anything, but she made watching the World Cup fun. And then there was the one in 2018, I think. She didn't really watch that one that much. I don't know why. And of course, the one that just happened a few months ago in at the end of 2022. She wasn't around for that, so none of us really had any interest in the World Cup at all. I don't even know what team won the World Cup uh, in 2022. I played football, basketball, and baseball and liked them, but combat sports are much more my thing. I've never played. Well, no, I did play all those sports only because I was forced to. My dad, like I said, forced me to play baseball when I was a kid with them. But there was also a football course in my middle school gym class. We would go outside in the we would go outside and play football. We were in teams, of course, and that wasn't a very pleasant experience. The team captain, and my team's captain was a huge fucking douchebag. He would always curse us out anytime any one of us would, slip up. Acting like we're actually in the fucking NFL. Like this is a fucking this is fucking middle school football. Who the fuck cares? Like, but no, he took it really seriously. Anytime we'd lose, he'd curse us out, get really pissed off. Anytime we do good, though, didn't really hear much from him. No words of encouragement. And that kid was a douche. No one liked him. He took middle school sports way too fucking seriously. And basketball in middle school, when I was in sixth grade, we actually eh, we had a little competition in gym class for basketball. In basketball, there's March Madness. Well, we had that in middle school. We had March Madness, and any team that made it to all at one point, all the teams were facing off in my gym class, and my team actually made it to the finals in that class. It wasn't like something the whole school watched or anything. All the other kids in the gym class were on the bleachers, and in the semifinal, we faced off that douchebag kid that I had to play with in during the football course. Um, we faced off against his team, and somehow we won against his team. And then after we beat him, he was like really fucking pissed off, and he was cursing at us. He called us pussy f slurs and started punching the wall like fucking crazy. That kid had issues, like straight up. And playing in that final was not a very good experience. I mean, I didn't really fuck up that badly or anything, but still, just being watched by the rest of the gym class it was not fun at all. We didn't win, by the way. We lost, but whatever. Again, it's middle school basketball. It wasn't serious business or anything. MMA is great. It's cathartic, great for managing anger and anxiety, and it's just really fun and the people are great. My father likes MMA. He doesn't participate in it, but he likes watching it sometimes. Was it PG-13 swearing or TVMA swearing? I never really heard anyone put it like that, but I guess TVMA. I mean, most middle schoolers curse like sailors, don't they? It wasn't until 8th grade I started swearing a lot. In 6th and 7th grade, I was known as the only kid in my class who didn't swear because, oh, naughty words, and then I just stopped giving a shit. And I still don't give a shit because listen to me in these streams and any video of mine, I curse like every other fucking word. It would be a bitch to if I had to if I monetized my videos, it would be a bitch to fucking censor them because I swear so much in my videos, and I'd rather not deal with that shit. I'd rather not deal with demonetization either or any of that fucking headaches any of the fucking headaches that come with, monetizing your content. No fucking thank you. I'm fine with just doing YouTube as a hobby. I played football, basketball, and some other sports, mainly ball games, and it was fun. Most of the kids sucked, which made it even more fun because we would always laugh at each other. Yeah, unfortunately, my middle school gym class was not like that. Oh yeah, we also played volleyball after the basketball course ended. That wasn't fun either. The team I was with, all the kids were fucking douchebags, or at least for the most part. Not every kid was a douchebag. But, I actually got quite good at volleyball in high school. We had a volleyball course in high school, and the team I was with in high school was so much better. So much goddamn better. We're all, it was like how you described. Most of us weren't great, but we all just kind of laughed at each other and had a good time. But in middle school, I remember fucking up. Um, I think the ball was headed towards me and I missed. And that I think that made us lose at the end because I think we're like, yeah, I made the team lose at the end of one class, and they didn't take too kindly to that. They're like, "Damn, you can't play for shit." Everyone was really on my ass, you know, saying nasty things towards me, and that of course wasn't pleasant at all. I mean, I kind of laugh at it now because it's all these fucking dumbass middle schoolers taking a game way too goddamn seriously. A game that doesn't matter at all. Again, it's fucking gym class in middle school. Who gives a shit? But you know, back then it wasn't pleasant at all. Wanted to update my profile pic by drawing my version to a chibi fighter character like in Street Fighter because whatever. The most fun one was when our teacher had us play a version of the ancient Mayan ball game, but instead of the losing team being sacrificed and dying, the losing team had to run a mile around the field. Oh god. Well, I never heard of that game. Ancient Mayan ball game. Never played anything like that in school, I don't think. Well, yeah, I would imagine your teacher changing the part where you get sacrificed and die though. I have never seen any Power Rangers show or movie. No, I think maybe I saw an episode of what I think Nickelodeon had a Power Rangers show back in like I don't know 2008 or something. I think I saw an episode of that because Nickelodeon was on the TV and I think Cartoon Network wasn't showing anything I was interested in, so I give that a try, but I wasn't interested at all. I just wanted SpongeBob to be on. Speaking of SpongeBob, last time I finished that SpongeBob game that came out a few months ago, Cosmic Shake. It's a fun game. I still like Battle for Bikini Bottom more. And hot take, I think I like the movie game still the most. That game has its issues, but I still really like that game. But this game that I just finished was pretty all right. Very disappointing final boss, but Tom Kenny's getting old, isn't he? Because his SpongeBob voice sounded kind of hoarse in the game. I don't know how old he is, but must be getting up there in age. I'm sure. Been playing SpongeBob for over 20 years. The Mayan ball game was a game similar to volleyball where the goal is to keep the ball in play. Depending on what tribe/civilization you're talking about, the losing team would be sacrificed. I've never heard of that variation of volleyball. Sounds interesting. I remember having a lot of fun in PE as a kid when we'd bring out that parachute that looked like a circus tent. Oh, yeah. I think my, elementary school gym class had that. I remember being really scared of having to climb a rope in my, middle school gym class because there were ropes. Um, there was one in the corner of the gym class. There were 4 ropes, I mean, in the corner of the gym of the gym, and I was really scared that at one point we had to climb those, but, we never had to. I remember that parachute back in my elementary school years. Yeah, I do too. Never really played with it that much, though. Well, thankfully in high school, gym class was a lot better. It was a lot more fun, a way more, chill environment because, not saying people are super duper mature in high school, but, on average, I'd say high schoolers are definitely more mature than middle schoolers, so no one really took, any of the games we played in high school all that fucking seriously. We just, had a good time, laughed with each other. And again, it was a very chill environment. It was very nice playing with students that, didn't have a stick up their ass the entire time. We played with a basketball and we had to keep the ball in the air using our legs, elbows, or heads. It was really fun, but not so much if you lost and had to run a mile around the field. Yeah, thankfully, none of my gym teachers ever had us do that as a punishment, having to run a mile. Yeah, I'd look at me, I'd probably pass out. But in general, I'm happy my school days are behind me. I can never say that enough because college is just so much more preferable over school, especially high school. I remember one time in high school, this one kid brought a bag of cocaine to school. Jesus. Well, I'd imagine he got in a lot of trouble for that. There'd be certain days in high school where we'd come or where we'd go where we'd be where we had to be in a line and we'd had to go through the gym and there would be essentially they did random drug searches at my high school and we all had to be in a big ass line, go through detectors, and we had to put our bags to, also go through. Or we had to put our bags in bins that had to go through detectors and such. I don't think I ever saw a kid get busted in any of those. No, I haven't. But that always fucking sucked because it was always like 30 minutes of standing outside on a big ass line, just waiting to get in. And I remember there'd be a couple of times they did that. It would be, like, in the middle of fucking winter, too. It'd be, like, 20 degrees outside, and we'd be freezing our asses off just waiting in this big ass line to get into the gym, and, be searched and have our bags go through the fucking detectors. It was just miserable. I don't think my elementary school had those kinds of security. Well, no, that's typically not an elementary school because I don't think there's many elementary school kids bringing in bags of cocaine to school. I'm sure it's probably happened, but that's kind of rare. So there's no random drug searches when you're in elementary school or middle school, but certainly in high school, there's we had random drug searches. There are even dogs there sniffing students. I forgot about that part. Had to be sniffed by a dog a couple of times. Hot take, but I'm still not a dog person. I went to a friend's house a few months ago. He has a dog, really hyper dog on top of that big dog too. Um, and he when I went to his house, right away his dog ran up to me and was on my chest, just barking in my face. Wasn't mean or anything. He wasn't trying to attack me or anything. I think he was just trying to say hello or something, trying to get me to play with them. But I didn't like it. I've grown up around cats. Those are the animals I'm most acquainted with, and I'm used to cats just, kind of being there, chilling, not hyper at all. Meanwhile, there are dogs that, never just never shut up. They're always running around. I'm sorry to any dog owner in the chat, but I mean, I'm not saying, I hate your dog or anything, but I probably wouldn't get along with your dog at all because I'm just not a dog person. He never got caught. Also, on the last day of school before spring break, he took ecstasy and was sitting in his chair with his teeth clenched, all wobbly and sweating like crazy. Never got caught. I think there was a kid. What did he take? It wasn't shrooms, I don't think, but he took something before the school day, and it was like really. You could tell he was on something. No, I think he was on shrooms. I think he did take shrooms before the school day started. Imagine that, being in school and you're fucking tripping on shrooms. Someone started a fire in one of my restrooms in my high school when they were caught smoking weed. Holy shit. Actually, wait, in middle school, I remember there was a girl that actually brought beer into the school. And she was drunk and she started a fight with some other girl. That was really big. Everyone in my school was talking about that. Actually, I was on she had a fight with some other girl on the staircase, and I was walking up the staircase at the same when that was happening, and a shitload of other students were crowded around both of them. I just wanted to get the fuck upstairs. I didn't care about any of that shit. I remember when I flipped off someone that wasn't black. To be honest, I thought someone at lunch in elementary school was making fun of my food. That was the worst thing I did in my life. Damn. Well, I flipped people off, but I never got in trouble for it. Never really did it as always kind of did it ironically. I used to have a dog, but he was too big for my house, so we had to give him to another owner. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm sure it's really heartbreaking when you have to give up a pet like that. I can't imagine ever, having to give up my cat Charlie. He's been pretty much my best friend for most of my life, for 15 years now. He turned 15 on the 1st of April. Yeah, April Fool's Day is Charlie's birthday. Same with my cat Timmy and my cat Theodore. Well, we just call him Theo. Well, April 1st is Theo's unofficial birthday because he was born a year after Charlie and Timmy. We saw Charlie and Timmy being birthed by my cat Debbie that passed away a few years ago. R.I.P. But Theo, he just kind of popped up one day, I think in April, and he was already like a few weeks old. So he was born sometime in March, but obviously we have no clue at what day exactly he was born on. So we just kind of we just kind of celebrate all three of their birthdays at the same time. I remember there would be lockdowns at my high school, and they checked the lockers and sometimes backpacks for drugs and other things with the school resource officer's dog. Well, we only ever used lockers in my high school for gym class. That was the only time we ever put our bags in lockers. Aside from that, I mean, there were lockers in the school, but no one ever really used them. There were like lockers in some of the classrooms, but never in the hallways. So I always just, kept my backpack with me. Never put anything in a locker aside from, like I said, gym class. You had a pet cockatoo at one point. That's neat. My my aunt and uncle have on my father's side have a pet had a pet parrot that I used to they live all the way upstate, and I remember I used to love, making that parrot repeat what I said. It's probably still alive. Parrots can live a really long time, so they probably still have it. I never asked about it, so I don't know. I don't know how old that parrot was when I was a kid, though. Could have been already old back then. I don't know how long they had it. I loved both of them, but it saddens me that they're gone. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm sure having to give up a pet is hard, or a pet dying is also really hard. I mean, I had to go through that with my cat Debbie. She gave birth to Charlie, Timmy, and Theo. The three of them are still alive, but Debbie died in 2019. She died the day after Christmas of that year. At least it wasn't Christmas Day. Jesus, that would have been even more difficult. Yeah, I tried to not think about, my cat Charlie being up there in age now. Because I think 15 years in cat years is considered a super senior. I think at least. And I have a cousin. Uh, she had to put her dog down a few years ago. Her dog was 15. She got a new dog. Uh, Actually, she got a new dog shortly before she had to put that dog down. They knew that dog was on its last legs and, didn't have much time left, so they got a new dog. I remember being really fucking annoyed by the dog they put down. That dog would always go up to me and start barking in my face, but obviously I never wanted it to die or anything. It was still pretty sad when they had to put that dog down. That's what always fucking annoyed me. Whenever I talk about my, how I'm not really a fan of dogs. People are I've had people say to me in both the internet and in real life, "So what, you wanna see a dog get harmed or killed then?" Like, "No, what the fuck?" Just because I find an animal annoying doesn't mean I wanna see it die or get hurt. Same thing with children. I've seen people, there've been people online who accuse me of that. "You wanna see a child get harmed or hurt or, killed or something like that?" Like, no, I just find children annoying. Doesn't mean I want anything horrible to happen to them. The fuck? So, yeah, that speaking of not liking children in that video I made, that comment section annoys me sometimes because, again, I'd have the people in the comment section accusing me of supposedly liking it when children get harmed, which I don't. Again, I just find children annoying and that's it. I don't want anything bad to happen to a child or anything. And then there's also the unhinged people in that comment section who comment there and say, "Yeah, I like it when children get harmed. I love it I love it when bad things happen to children." And I hate that shit equally because, I don't want to be lumped in with fucking weirdos like that. The only point I wanted to convey in that video are children are fucking annoying, and I have no desire to ever have children. Never once in that video did I say I want to see a child get hurt or killed or anything, or I don't want anything inappropriate to happen to them. It's annoying having to deal with that shit. And, again, those weirdos think I'm with them just because I find children annoying. Well, I guess I will get off here. Take care. Oh, see ya, Colton. Hello, Guitar Rocker. How are you doing today? I love dogs personally, but I don't think people like you want to see dogs get harmed because of your dislike for them. Yeah, there's a difference between just disliking something and wanting to see, yeah, and just being an unhinged fucking douchebag and wanting to see like an animal get harmed. Like, no, there's a differentiation between the two. The things those weirdos are saying is literally child abuse. Yeah, I'd rather not know what might be contained on those people's hard drives. Ugh. Wanted to get in a more comfortable position. Now you can see my Green Day shirt. Well, you saw it earlier, but now you can see it even more now. Dookie is not my favorite Green Day album. That goes to Warning, but Dookie is still really fucking great. Probably in my top three. Yeah. There's Dookie, and I like Insomniac. I think, yeah, Insomniac is my second favorite, probably. And then Dookie. Yeah. I don't know. I never really thought about my top favorite Green Day albums besides knowing that Warning is my absolute favorite. It's either Dookie or American Idiot. That's my third favorite. Insomniac I really love, so I'm probably, yeah, probably pretty confident that Insomniac is my second favorite. Oh shit, I dropped my phone. You own that exact shirt? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I really love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. Dookie, out of all of Green Day's album covers, Dookie is easily my favorite because of, just all the shit that's on it. It's a really cool album cover. Really iconic too. Same thing with the American Idiot album cover. That one's also really famous. American Idiot is your favorite Green Day album. Yeah, it used to be my favorite Green Day album. I have a lot of nostalgia surrounding American Idiot because my mom loves that album so much. She owns the CD. Sometimes she even plays it in her car. And that was the first Green Day album I ever heard from front to back. I love it so much. I was listening to Jesus of Suburbia the other day, and now I have that song in my head right now. I'd totally play it right now, but I'm kind of sort of streaming, and I don't want to risk a copyright strike. At the center of the earth of the parking lot. Sounded just like Billy Joe Armstrong, didn't I? I heard this story about this guy who tortured cats. Someone found where he lived, went to his home, and shot him in the head. Well, I don't advocate for murder, but I can't say I feel that sorry for the guy. But yeah, it was probably a bit too excessive though. Anyone hear about the some prank YouTuber getting shot recently? I watched a Penguin Zero video about that. I don't think it's been released yet what exactly the prank was, but some dude apparently this guy was bothering some dude in a mall, I think, and then he got shot. I didn't even know prank channels were still a thing. But yeah, unfortunately that's not the first instance of someone almost dying due to a YouTube prank. And I heard in that Penguin Zero video that that guy, instead of having this be a moment of introspection and realizing that perhaps maybe you should stop doing prank content, or at least prank content that could potentially get you killed. This guy was supposedly, like, even in the hospital after recovering from a gunshot wound as a result of some stupid prank video he was recording for YouTube. He was like, I can't wait to see how this will boost my channel. I think he was oh, sorry, I drooled there. Jesus. Um, he was like yeah, he was basically like, I can't wait to see how this will do for my how this affects my channel's metrics, and he can't wait to be back on the grind. And Jesus goddamn fucking Christ, like, where are your fucking priorities? You nearly fucking died as a result of some stupid prank you were doing, and you're just like, hey, this will probably be good for my channel's growth. Like, I had a cat who I had a cat to around 14 years old. He passed away in 2021. The day before he died, he was acting very strange, and by nighttime tried to hide in the bathtub. I think cats do that when they're near death. I know my cat Debbie, she covered herself in a carpet we had at the time in the dining room when she died. She was closest to my grandmother, and unfortunately my grandmother was the one to watch her die. I just remember, it was 1 in the afternoon, I think. I woke up. I was just chilling in my bed, and then all of a sudden, my grandma came up yelling, saying the cat died. I was scared. At first, she just said the cat died, and I was like, "Which fucking cat?" I mean, any cat dying would be, devastating towards me. But if it was Charlie, I wouldn't even know what the fuck to do with myself. And then found out it was Debbie, and that still really fucked me up because I loved Debbie a lot. But it's heartbreaking though. But again, Debbie was really close to my grandmother, and my grandmother was the one to see her die. We came down, and Debbie was wrapped up in a under the uh under the carpet in the dining room, and I thought my grandma did that at first, but no, Cat did that herself. People don't take animal abuse very kindly, so if you torture cats or dogs, you should expect someone wanting to kill you. Yeah, especially if you put that shit online, you're bound to get a lot of people just wanting your fucking head on a stick. Like that one kid from a few years ago, the kid that was beating his cat and posted that on YouTube. Had him on one of my worst YouTubers list, I think of 2019, I think. Hello, big guy 45s. How are you doing? I don't support vigilante justice, but if some sadistic scumbag like that gets murked, I don't really care. Yeah, it really depends for me. Vigilante justice, especially if you know that real justice isn't going to be delivered, then I don't. I'm fine with vigilante justice. Again, depending on what the person did. I remember Archfiend making a video about vigilante justice around the time EDP got busted and saying how he preferred vigilante justice over, actual justice being served on EDP because, if the actual police busted EDP, it wouldn't be this big spectacle online and he would probably just cop a plea deal and get a light sentence and, there'd be a lot of speculation in regards to what happened to EDP. There'd be a lot in the dark, but this predator catching group on the internet filmed the whole sting op, and everyone knows for a fact that EDP is a predator. I'd still like to see EDP behind bars, but at least when it came to vigilante justice, everyone knew exactly who the fuck EDP was and knows that he's a sick fuck. He got caught in 4K. The station does not endorse vigilante justice unless it gets results, which it will. Oh, your pizza came. That took a while. Didn't you say at the beginning of the stream that you're getting pizza? Well, I'm used to pizza getting here fast because there's a pizza place like 5 minutes away from me. Sometimes when I order a pie, it comes within the matter of like, I don't know, 20 minutes, which is great because I get it fresh. Yeah, I remember the Simpsons movie, the one where Springfield is put into a dome or whatever. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. It's weird because I never seen much of the actual show, but I used to watch the movie a lot as a kid because my dad got that movie, I think for me, and I really liked the movie as a kid. I can't speak to it now as an adult. I don't know if it's a good or a bad movie. Actually, speaking of Green Day from earlier, I remember Green Day was in that movie. They did the Simpsons theme song. That was cool. I should probably watch The Simpsons though. Hear a lot of good things about The Simpsons, or at least the first like 10 seasons of The Simpsons. That's the hurdle for me though. We have Disney Plus. Simpsons is on Disney Plus. I would totally watch The Simpsons, but there's just so many goddamn seasons. When the fuck do you end? I've always looked up on like Reddit and such, on like I've always looked up on the internet and looked at subreddits and what people say on there, and it's always conflicting responses. You should stop at this season. You should stop at this certain episode, and the answers are all fucking different. So I don't know when the fuck to actually stop watching The Simpsons when it actually stops being good. Because if The Simpsons just had, I don't know, like 10 seasons, then fine, I'd binge it. But there's like fucking what 35 seasons? Fuck that. Early Simpsons is the GOAT. Yeah, I've seen plenty of clips from early Simpsons episodes and they're pretty funny. Simpsons is up there with like SpongeBob and The Office when it comes to like most meme worthy shows. It's hard to watch shows with a lot of episodes for me. Well, I can handle again, like I said, if a show has like 9 or 10 seasons, then fine. I watched Seinfeld not a few years ago, a few months ago, and that had 9 seasons. I was fine with that. Same thing with All in the Family. It's my favorite sitcom of all time. That had 9 seasons. Binged that. But when a show has 30 plus seasons, I think The Simpsons has 30 plus fucking seasons at this point. Yeah, I'd like to know when there's a good time to stop, but it seems like all the answers are different, at least from what I've seen online. I remember one time back in middle school, I had this blue ice pack, and this kid thought it was blue meth and freaked out. That's funny. Reminds me of Breaking Bad. One Piece is over 1,000 episodes or something crazy. Shit, really? I didn't know that show was that fucking long. I know the Pokemon anime has over 1,000 episodes, right? I remember hearing about that when the show hit its 1,000th episode mark. I never really cared about anime. Maybe I should watch anime, but I don't know. Not really much of a reason why I shouldn't watch anime. I just never really had much of an interest in it. Same. Well, I'm currently binging Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I watched that show. I binged that show a few years ago, and I just decided to do it again since I binged Courage recently. I'm on season 3 now. Season 1 of Ed, Ed, and Eddie is kind of weird though. A lot of growing pains in that season. Season 2 is when it gets really good. It's not like Courage, where Courage came right out of the gate with its best season. Elon has apparently blocked Substack links and Twitter on Twitter, and Matt Taibbi is apparently leaving Twitter as well. Damn, wasn't that the Twitter files guy? Shit. Yeah, Twitter's just circling down the drain further and further. I mean, what, in a few days, isn't everyone who is not subscribed to Twitter Blue who has a blue check mark going to lose the check mark? And you have to fucking pay money to keep the check mark? Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. And I saw that he recently changed the Twitter icon to Doge. Well, I'm looking at the Twitter homepage right now. It's not Doge anymore, thank God. But it was Doge for like a few days. The Twitter icon is Doge. Isn't Elon so funny and relatable? Yeah, totally. I jokingly told him I was helping Walter White smuggle drugs into the school, and he started crying and told the principal. What, did the kid think Breaking Bad was real or some shit? I've watched Love Live, Parasite, Death Note, and Chainsaw Man as far as anime goes. I hear so many good things about Death Note. That's the anime I'm definitely most interested in seeing someday. I don't know what the fuck it's on though. I remember seeing some episodes and clips of Ed and Eddie. It's a good show. It's easily my second favorite cartoon of all time. Close second behind Courage the Cowardly Dog. I hated looking at the Doge icon. Here's the thing, for the longest time, I loved the Doge meme. That dog is adorable. But then it got fucking hijacked by crypto bros and Elon, and now I just fucking hate the meme. Every time you search up Doge on Google, it's not about the meme. Every result is about Dogecoin and stupid crypto shit that I can't give a fuck less about. And I feel so vindicated because all throughout 2021, I was like, this crypto shit is so fucking stupid. It's not volatile. It's gonna fucking collapse eventually. And all these, all these fucking smug crypto bros, every time someone said something like that, brought up legitimate concerns surrounding crypto, they're just like, "Oh, you're just mad that you're poor. We're raking in the dough. We're making thousands off crypto," and then all that shit fucking collapsed. And guess what? All those smug ass crypto bros now have to eat shit. Again, I feel vindicated as fuck for not participating in any of that shit. To be fair, there are probably at least some Walter White type of people, desperate family men resorting to sell drugs to support families and therefore end up in pretty wacky situations. Though I'm not doubting there are people who turn to selling drugs and manufacturing drugs because they're desperate and need to support a family and can't find a stable income elsewhere. I'm just saying, you said specifically that you're helping Walter White and that kid freaked out. So I was like, does that kid think Walter White is real or something like that? You can watch Death Note on WCO stream. I'll I'll take I'll keep that in mind. I remember when everyone would clown on the hexagon NFT profile pictures on Twitter. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. That was the only good thing about those fucking hexagon Twitter profile pics. They made it easy for people to bully crypto bros on Twitter. I have a cousin who invested in crypto for a few years and got 400K at some point. He got greedy and ended up losing most of it. Jesus Christ. Yeah. A lot of these people, they get really excited when they get a lot of money and they end up not being smart with that money and end up blowing most of it or all of it. I remember Boogie 2988 a few months ago. He made a lot in crypto and then he blew everything on crypto and then he was like, please give me money, guys. I put myself in this really bad financial situation because I took advice from some stupid friend about when it comes to crypto, but please give me money. God, fuck Boogie. I haven't thought about in years and suddenly remembered yesterday and broke down laughing for like 5 minutes. Why would Boogie of all people invest in crypto? He's already set for life. I don't know. I don't know how much money he had prior to that. I'm sure he was already pretty well off financially. I mean, for years he was a really popular YouTuber raking in the dough. I think he did Twitch streams where he did like thousands of dollars each stream. He had a good thing going, and then he just blew all of it from stupid crypto bullshit. I still remember when people like to portray Boogie as the Mr. Rogers of the internet. Yeah, that shit didn't age well at all. That's another thing I feel really vindicated about because I made that first Boogie rant back in what 2017, back when everyone saw Boogie as the good guy, and I was getting really fucking tired of Boogie's shit. Mainly, when it came to how centrist he was, felt he seemed really averse to giving his actual opinion on things and always wanted to sit on the fence. And even in 2017, that shit annoyed me. I was like, give an actual fucking opinion on something. And I made that rant video going after him about that. And people were really on my ass saying, no, Boogie is a good guy. Fuck you for saying bad things about Boogie. He's better than you'll ever be. And then shortly after that video, everything just fucking collapsed when it came to Boogie. And I was right. I was right about Boogie all along. I was ahead of the curve. I remember right when I uploaded that video, it got dislike bombed. People were, even people in my audience were, really mad at me for, you know, daring to speak negative of Boogie. Boogie's entire trademark is "I'm fat and had a bad childhood. Feel bad for me. When you do that, you're gonna fall eventually." Well, I have no problem with him making the videos about, his traumatic childhood and all that. I mean, if video making is your outlet and you're comfortable with sharing personal information like that and it makes you feel better, then fine. It's just that, the dude was always such a two-face. He always tried to portray himself as, this Mr. Rogers type figure of the internet, when meanwhile in streams he's this douchebag. And there's multiple times where he tries to take advantage of his fans, like what I mentioned previously. Him just blowing his money on crypto, being completely irresponsible, and then turning to his audience to bail him out. Overall, the dude is just a piece of shit. And again, it's just such a two-face. A lot of people, I think there are people in his personal life, you know, who have said, Boogie isn't like how he portrays himself in his videos. And it's a shame because at one point I did really like Boogie. I was subscribed to him. I didn't watch him religiously or anything. He was never like on my regular rotation of YouTubers to watch. But, you know, whenever a Boogie video would pop up on my homepage, I'd be like, I'll watch this because I like Boogie. He seems cool. Not so much anymore these days. I used to respect Boogie for being such a positive influence and helping people lose weight, but he just really fell off hard, especially in 2019. Yeah, he really did fall off. How's his channel doing these days? I haven't checked in a while. Not since like, I don't know, November when he uploaded that video, begging for money. All right. Damn, he has over 4 million subscribers, 18K views, 16K views, 12K views. Okay, this got 38K views because it's a life update, so I guess that, piques more people's curiosity, but still, even 30K views being a lot for a channel with over 4 million subscribers. I mean, damn, he fell off. Shit. Yeah, his channel's really struggling. A lot of his videos just barely crack 10K now, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, I remember every time Boogie uploaded a video, it was like a guaranteed like 500K views he would get. How the mighty have fallen. If you're getting less than 50K views per vid with 4 million subscribers, then you've really fallen off. Yeah. Though to be fair, I've seen a lot worse. I've seen channels with over 1 million subscribers just barely getting even 1,000 views because they were popular like 10 years ago. And then when people, ended up losing interest or growing up, they kind of just moved past that channel and it just stays there sitting in their subscriber feed, but they never actually click on the channel and watch the videos. And this is why I choose to just do YouTube as a hobby, like I was saying earlier. I mean, I don't really care about monetization or any shit like that. I mean, I'm part of the partner program, but I don't monetize any of my videos. The only time I make any money is when someone decides to voluntarily donate to me in any of these streams. By the way, the donation button is right below the right below where you comment in the chat. So if you ever want to donate to me, it's right there. Anyway, but that's the only time I ever make money off of any content I put out on the internet. I don't want to monetize my videos because I don't want to go through the fucking hassle of demonetization. I curse like a sailor in my videos, and I don't want to go through the fucking trouble of editing out each swear in my videos or putting an annoying bleep sound or muting the audio every time I curse. Fuck that shit. And, even if my videos were monetized, it's not like I'd make much off of my videos anyway, since I only get like 250, 300 views per video on average. That's like what, 2 cents YouTube gives you? I mean, I think my channel's doing all right. I don't get crazy views, but I just do this shit as a hobby, so I don't really care about the views. I'm kind of surprised my video about the Resident Evil 4 voice actress, though, that I uploaded yesterday is already at almost 400 views. I went to sleep last night. That video was only at like I think 150 views. Then I woke up, video has over 300 views, and I was like, where the fuck did that come from? I guess since the Resident Evil 4 remake is still a hot topic, maybe YouTube algorithm picked it up. I don't know. Annoying Orange also fell off. The videos get around 100 to 300K views versus the channel having around 11 million subs. Yeah, I'm surprised that channel's still going. Surprised that dude hasn't gotten tired of making the fucking Annoying Orange videos. Or maybe he has, but that's like the only thing he has going for him, which I feel kind of bad for him. I used to watch Annoying Orange religiously, religiously. God. I mean, 100 and 300K views isn't too bad. I mean, it's much better than what Boogie has, where he's just barely cracking 10K. That's still a pretty viable viewer base, even if it's nowhere near what it was back in the day when Annoying Orange would get like what, 5 to 10 million views per video. I don't care about monetizing my channel. I make videos for fun, and there's too much copyrighted material, swears, and sex jokes for them to be monetized. Well, you got a good thing going for you. You edit for big people like TJ these days, and that Shark dude. So, and I don't know, maybe other people that I'm not aware of, but you know, I'm sure that's viable. You don't need to worry about your channel being monetized. By the way, tell TJ I said hi. That Justin Roiland video he made the other day, Jesus Christ, that was a fucking awful video. I feel bad for you because he had to edit that video. How long exactly have you been editing for TJ? Because I didn't know until just like what, yesterday you told me that you edited for TJ. Was it the day before? I forget. My memory is just fucking shit right now. Is it just you that edits for TJ and Shark, or do they have like multiple editors? I don't know how that shit works. When it comes to editing my shit, it's really just editing the audio and that's it. Just slapping a picture. TJ knows I didn't agree with that vid, but I did it since it's my job. Well, I'm not throwing shit at you for editing that video. I know it's just your job, and you're not gonna. I'm sure not every single video you edit for TJ and Shark and whoever else you edit for you, agree with every single video that you edit, but you know, I understand it's just your job. I'm sure whoever edits for Vosh doesn't agree with everything he says, but it's their job at the end of the day, so I can't throw shit at them. And before you tell me you also edit for Vosh and I didn't even know. You mentioned it in some leftist in Finland server once. Well, I don't look at some leftist in Finland server every day. Some leftist in Finland. I don't know. Something about that name was kind of funny to me. I can't even explain it. Annoying Orange also has a gaming channel with around 3 million subs, but the videos only get 1K to 40K views. I think I remember when he launched that gaming channel. I think he uploaded it. I think Annoying Orange on the Annoying Orange channel, they made a video advertising that channel once. I didn't know that channel was still chugging along. The dude who made Annoying Orange, he has some cool videos on his regular channel that I went back to watch recently, or more like I think a month or two ago. He made cool VFX shit. I wish he still made those kind of videos instead of just focusing on Annoying Orange solely. Overall, I like editing for TJ. Yeah, I'm sure it's cool editing for TJ. The only complaint I had was just with that Justin Roiland video with all the cuts every time TJ swore. I know it's to edit out the swearing. I just think there's better ways to go around censoring the swearing. Not by adding those fucking annoying bleep sounds, but like muting the audio every time TJ swore, like on Vosh's channel, for example. That's how his editor goes about the swearing. As for Annoying Orange, I lost interest in that a long time ago. I lost interest in Annoying Orange back in like 2012. Even TJ's own fans didn't agree with that vid. I didn't really look at the comment section too extensively. I watched that video right when it released, so there weren't that many comments yet. But every comment I saw didn't agree with them. It's kind of clowning on him for that take. I mean, Justin Roiland, he was creepy with minors and DMs, and that shit was confirmed. So I don't know why he's going to bat for Justin Roiland. Like I saw Vosh read some of the DMs in a video like a week or two ago when the Justin Roiland DMs were not charged when the Justin Roiland charges were dropped, and that shit was just really a lot of the shit he'd say to minors is really fucking weird and creepy. So yeah, I don't see anything worthy of defense there when it comes to Justin Roiland. It's not like just because the charges were dropped, the guy was a saint and he did nothing wrong. He's still a really fucking creepy dude. Not to mention the clip of Justin saying really disgusting shit about 14-year-old girls and 13-year-olds getting married. Oh god, I don't think I've seen that. What the fuck? Yeah, I'll check my Discord after the stream, which I'm gonna end at the like I usually do at the 2 hour and 5 minute mark. So there's still about 25 minutes left of this stream for the four people that are still here. Is Rick and Morty even fucking good? I hear a lot of mixed things about that show. I'd never seen a single episode of Rick and Morty. I'm just aware of the obnoxious memes that show has spawned. Remember when people were saying, "I'm Pickle Rick" or some shit like that? Or people were freaking out about some McDonald's sauce that Rick and Morty mentioned in an episode. Also, Mr. Beast defended his gender non-conforming friend against all the bigots online recently. What gender non-conforming friend? I don't pay attention to Mr. Beast, so I don't know anything about that. I mean, Mr. Beast's fan base is pretty fucking awful, so I'm not surprised that there are people attacking his. If he has a friend who's gender non-conforming, there's a whole bunch of people attacking his friend. His friend Chris Tyson came out as gender non-conforming and said they were on HRT for 2 months. Mr. Beast and his friends all supported them. Yeah, unfortunately the internet is such a fucking vile place. You know, whenever someone comes out as gender non-conforming, trans, or whatever else, there's a whole bunch of people online just jumping at the opportunity to lunge at them and you know attack them for just being who they are. In school that Mr. Beast and school that Mr. Beast is supportive of his friend being gender non-conforming, though, since he's the biggest channel on YouTube. It never really struck me as the bigoted type, though. I never really had much suspicion that Mr. Beast is transphobic or homophobic or anything of the sort, though. I have my issues with the guy, but it really just boils down to just, immaturity and, stuff that'll probably grow out of within a few years. It's a huge W because Mr. Beast is the largest channel on YouTube. Yeah, the dude is what 150 million subs at this point. It's insane how much that dude grew. I don't watch his shit. I'm not really into his videos at all. I don't hate the guy as much as a lot of people online, or at least a lot of people in the online left sphere seem to. Again, I have my critiques of the guy, but you know, I don't, I don't despise him. I just don't really have much of an opinion on the dude because, again, I don't watch him. His channel's not really my cup of tea. His appeal seems to be, for like mostly children. I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube outside of political commentary and gaming news videos, though, or just really gaming videos in general. I don't watch Let's Plays or live streams or anything like that. I mostly to watch, like I said, gaming news videos, or I just look up, cutscenes of games I like. It's either that or political commentary, like I said. Really all I watch on YouTube for the most part. Almost a 142 million. Oh, I thought that dude already cracked 150 million. Again, it's insane how huge he is. Every video of his doesn't it get like over 100 million views at this point? Like there are channels I watch that have accumulated around 100 million views. Like in total, all their videos have racked up 100 million views, and that he can crack that every video just fucking easily. It is refreshing when normie content creators like Philip DeFranco, McJuggernuggets, Jacksepticeye, and Mr. Beast come out in favor of trans rights. Yeah, a lot of the normie YouTubers aren't really down with the rampant transphobia that's going on with the right because, even more normie people, people who aren't so politically tuned in, can see how extreme things are getting when it comes to, the transphobia among the right. It's a turn off for them. And a lot of these far right figures are just unhinged as fuck. Like, for example, look at the whole Sneeko and Penguin Zero drama. Sneeko's this far right douchebag, always picking fights with people, and there's normie content creators like Penguin Zero calling him out for his lunacy. So it's nice to see all these normie content creators just, pushing back against all this fucking extremism that's going on the right. And it just shows how, unpalpable all this shit is, among right wingers now. All this rampant anti trans, anti LGBT rhetoric that's going around. You know, a lot of people aren't so down with that because most of the world, when you're not paying attention to the far right sphere here online, a lot of people are not really so down with that rhetoric because most people don't give a shit about your sexual orientation or don't give a shit about your gender identity. Most people only give a shit about whether or not you're a douchebag or not. Most people's philosophy is if you're a nice person, if you're trans, non binary, gay, lesbian, whatever, you're cool. Oh, Charlie wants to come back in. He wants attention. Where did I leave off? Not to mention they'd probably alienate people in their audiences who are queer. Yeah, most people aren't really. Yeah, I don't. It also really just boils down to, most people just aren't down with the rampant transphobia that's going on among the right wing right now, or just rampant anti LGBT rhetoric in general that's going around the right wing currently. Because it's mostly, these far right types that are, spouting all this shit. And if you're not already, far right, you're not going to be so down with all this rhetoric that's going around right now. Like, I don't know if there are many normies out there who are watching people like Matt Walsh. I know Matt Walsh is big, but the right wing sphere and on the internet in general is pretty big. But when you get off the internet and you observe the people around you, the people, normal people who are not so politically tuned in, they're not really down with shit like that. Chugga Conroy also made a trans supportive tweet a while back. Yeah, I saw that tweet, unless you're referring to another one, where he basically, without mentioning Elon, responds to what Elon was saying about how trans people are forcing their identity down their throat or whatever. or that it's rude to impose your identity on people. Yeah, Charlie. He usually doesn't have much of a presence in these streams, but he's definitely making himself known today. Licking me. Hey. He can do this for minutes. I'll wash my hands after, I swear. I promise. The only downside is that the anti-queer shit is further radicalizing people who are already in that far-right bubble. Yeah, and it's really up to those people whether or not they want to get out of that bubble. I was never like far right or anything like that, but I started observing, how these anti-SJW YouTubers were going even further to the right, and they were saying shit that I wasn't really so down with. Like one of the things that really opened my eyes to anti-SJW YouTubers were anti-SJW YouTubers defending the treatment of defending just throwing the families that immigrated here into camps essentially when the Trump administration was doing that, which still goes on in the Biden administration. But I saw a lot of anti-SJW YouTubers defend the treatment of families that have immigrated here, and that really turned me off. That wasn't the only turning point, obviously, but I wasn't for that back in 2018 when that was a big hot button issue. And then I just started observing all this other rhetoric from anti-SJW YouTubers, and I was like, not really down with these people. They're kind of going a little bit too far right for my tastes. I remember there was also a video by what was his name? Black Pigeon. Black Pigeon Speaks. Remember that channel? Dude used to be big years ago. I don't know if this channel even still exists. Might have gotten terminated at this point, but I remember he made a video. Something it was uh something like women should not be in any position of power or something like that, and I was like, this shit is fucking ridiculous. I watched that back in like 2017, 2018. When I was pretty deep into the anti-SJW shit, and I thought, even back then, I was like, this shit is fucking stupid. Like, you're making an unfair generalization of all women, saying they shouldn't be in power. They should be essentially subservient to men. And I thought it was fucking garbage. And also TJ around that time was also making videos about Black Pigeon Speaks, making some video responses. TJ was like the only anti-SJW channel I watched at that point because he seemed to be one of the few anti-SJW content creators that wasn't, going further and further right. And I considered myself just a lib back then, so I thought he was more sensible than a lot of those anti-SJW channels. Like I know he was pretty bad in 2016. He made his transphobic, he had quite a few transphobic videos and anti-non-binary videos, and overall he was a pretty big dipshit back then. But you know, he wasn't exactly down with the whole Trump shit. He still took even though, he disproportionately made fun of the left a lot more and feminists and, all that shit. He still did like taking the piss out of Trump supporters and making fun of them. And he was also a pretty vocal Bernie supporter even in 2016. So I viewed him as more sensible than most of that other crowd. I was never this insane even when I did have ignorant views about trans people in 2017. There's being ignorant and then there's just being an absolute bigoted douchebag, you know? I think most people in this country fall into the ignorant category. They don't really know exactly much about, you know, uh, trans issues and trans people. They don't really understand it. I think I've said this before. My mother doesn't really understand much about trans people. She doesn't really understand the concept of, you know, being born male and then identifying as female or vice versa. She really doesn't understand NB people. She's not discriminatory against them or anything. She just doesn't really understand the concept of not identifying with any gender. But she still supports these people. She doesn't think their rights should be stripped away. She doesn't view them as any less, she doesn't view them as lesser or anything or second class citizens or whatever. She just doesn't really understand trans issues all that much. And, that's fine. You can be a little ignorant just so long as you're not like, a bigoted douchebag. I don't think most people, when it comes to trans issues, are like Matt Walsh in this country. Most people just have a live and let live mentality. So long as they're not affecting me in any negative way, why should I give a shit? I think that's where most people stand in this country. And again, midterms just proves this even further. This past midterms, the GOP going further and further right. We saw shit. We saw Roe v. Wade being overturned. I'm sure that was a big, motivator for people to go out and vote this past November. And also all this anti-trans shit. It's really it's fodder for the far right people within the GOP, sure, but when it comes to people, when it comes to just normal voters, they don't really think about this shit all that much. It's a turnoff for them because they don't care about these issues so much. Oh yeah, Wisconsin. Uh Dems won the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. That's fucking amazing. I was paying attention to that election a few days ago. Was really happy about that. But yeah, midterms were supposed to be a blowout in favor of the Republicans. They were supposed to just it was just supposed to be a fucking bloodbath, but instead we just saw a little trickle in favor of the GOP. They still won the House, but it was more of a hollow victory than, a complete blowout like they were projecting. And I hope this shit bites them in the ass in 2024 because they're just fucking quadrupling down on all this anti-trans shit. When again, most people just don't fucking care. They're like, why should I care about like two trans athletes at a high school? Like how does that affect me at all? Healthcare, please. Yeah, he's happy. I don't know if you could hear that, but he's purring really loudly right now. Oh, now he's itchy. Saying hi to all of you. Now he's leaving. Part of me says let them keep embarrassing themselves so they lose, but another part of me is concerned about more people being radicalized further to dangerous levels. That's my concern too. There's a lot of people being sucked into this far right pipeline, and it's disturbing. I mean, look at people like Andrew Tate. How they jump. I was afraid he was going to walk on my keyboard for a second there and fuck something up on the stream, but no, thankfully he jumped over. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Like, look at Andrew Tate and how he really captured the minds of a lot of teenagers. I saw a video a few days ago from, I think it was the Right Wing Cope Twitter account. This kid was arguing with his teacher. His teacher was telling him to sit down or something like that, and, the kid was like, "No, I'm the alpha. I don't have to listen to you." Like, I didn't hear any of this shit when I was in high school. Makes me really glad that I graduated before Andrew Tate and all these other shitbags rose in popularity. But no, seeing all these teenagers and even children, there are a lot of children who really like Andrew Tate too, believe it or not, being sucked into this pipeline. It's just really fucking disturbing. Like, when I was 12, I didn't give a fucking shit about politics at all. Like, the biggest concern to me when I was that age was getting banned off of Miiverse, not not suppressing the rights of women, like, or proving to other people that I'm this alpha male or some shit. Charlie being a little shit. Yeah, he can be that at times. But now he's chill. The tradition continues. My laptop's battery is getting low right at the tail end of this stream. All I cared about was YouTube poops when I was 12. Oh yeah, that's when I watched YouTube poops the most. I watched them at 12 a lot. Far better than caring about Andrew Tate at that age. No one should care about Andrew Tate at any age. And he's still in prison, last I checked, I think. I don't know. I don't really like keeping up with Andrew Tate all that much. Did he get released? I think I would have heard something if he got released. Or there would have been this big celebration, like Andrew Tate smearing shit in everyone's faces, in the faces of everyone who was in favor of him being imprisoned. Yeah, he got released, but he's on house arrest, I think. Oh, so he's still he's not in prison, but he's still, uh, serving time, I guess. Well, not really serving time, but you know what I mean. He's not a free man. I thought you meant he got released and was like exonerated of everything he did, because if that happened, there would have been a huge discourse surrounding that. I would have definitely heard about that. Andrew Tate would be, like, just saying, "See, I told you, I'm an innocent guy." I still find it funny that all this happened right after he went after Greta Thunberg. I know she has nothing to do with his arrest. The initial theory that, the Jerry's Pizza box is what got him arrested was proven wrong, but I still just find that funny, and that's my headcanon. Yeah, she is based. She's been getting even more based lately. Like banger after banger with her, earlier this year. Especially that really funny picture of her getting carried away by police. Based. And I remember all these Andrew Tate people were like, "See," we're like trying to say, "See, she's no better. She's getting arrested here." Yeah, but at least she wasn't arrested for fucking trafficking young women. Like, there's kind of sort of a difference between why she got arrested and why he got arrested, but okay. But anyway, this stream has been going on for 2 hours and 5 minutes, so I think now is a good time to wrap it up. Thank you to everyone who is here. I think at one point the stream had like 12 or 13 people watching. This is a fun, lively stream, and I appreciate everyone who watches these streams. Thank you to everyone who was here. Like I said, thank you to everyone who is still here, somehow still listening to me. I don't know how the fuck anyone could listen to me ramble on for 2 hours, but there are people out there who like that, and I can't be any more thankful for those people because, you give me the time of day and it makes me feel a little more valid. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Next stream will be sometime in May. When in May, I don't fucking know. But anyway, take care. See ya.